You're listening to Everyday Ham, casual conversations for the everyday amateur radio enthusiast.
All right, welcome everyone to episode 5 of the Everyday Ham podcast. I'm James, K8JKU. Don't know why that was hard today. I'm joined here by Jim Davis, N8JRD, and Rory Locke, W8KNX. So May is going to be a busy month for us, and we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. But first off, Rory, what has been going on in your ham radio world lately?
Well, it was a very busy month and one of my favorite ham radio events of the year. For me anyway, in the last 5 years or so, I started probably since just before COVID, I started getting into the state QSO parties, and I tend to chase those around a bit. So a couple of weeks ago, we had the Michigan QSO Party, which is, of course, our home state. So I took the trip north, decided to run away for a long weekend, and went up to Oscoda County and activated Oscoda County. So one of the things I like to do is I prefer to go do the QSO Party in a county that's not historically activated or hasn't been activated in the year prior. And all that data is available on the QSO Party website. So I went through and made a list of counties and decided to go up to Luzerne, found a neat little Airbnb and spent the weekend up there. So you can go to our YouTube channel, and I think there might be a link that pops up somewhere on here if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can take a look at the short video that we posted of my experience up outside of Luzerne, Michigan, doing the Michigan QSO Party. I did okay. I could have done better. 20 meters was poor during the day, which eliminated a lot of the out-of-state contacts, so that killed a lot of my multipliers that way. But I did get 41 of the 82 Michigan counties on 20 meters, and 40 nice. Meters and 80 meters. So that was now there's 83 Michigan counties, I think. Now I'm second guessing myself. I got roughly.
I'm not going to be able to verify it, so
someone will.
Nobody's calling you a liar because nobody knows except you.
Approximately half, we'll call it, and I was happy. I was happy with that. Band conditions.
How bad band conditions have been, that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and I was glad to get what I could get, and I think a lot of people got tired. 80 meters at night was not as busy as historically I remembered getting it being. One of our friends, Marty KB8JIU, got chased off the frequency he was calling CQ on, and someone started screaming Alaska QSO Party to get him off of their beloved 3810 that they were on. So that's okay. He flipped the switch and went to bed. He said he was about done, but right around 10,000 points, I think 150 QSOs. I'm content with my Michigan QSO Party experience. So take a look at that video that's been posted, and take a look at the Airbnb outside of Luzerne. And it was a good weekend. I'd like to go back up there and spend some time. It had a nice fire pit, nice little outside area, and it's not too far from. Spit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool. It's not too far from Mod Eaters. If anyone's familiar with Luzerne, you could probably stumble there and back if you needed to. And of course, the good old Luzerne Express convenience store, which was where I spent most of my money that weekend on food and beverages. So very good. What else is going on? I think we had our local club meeting this past Sunday, and
we did.
As any of our longtime listeners know, we're all part of the same amateur radio club here in South Lyon, Michigan, and we had a new potential member, I suppose, pop by this time. Chris, KT8CAT. There we go.
And officially a new member.
Oh, did he join already?
It is legit. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Little flub on the call sign there, but KT8CAT. Chris joined up, and he's been in touch with us on Discord, and glad to be aboard. So we appreciate Chris listening to the podcast, and appreciate him stopping by the club meeting this past Sunday.
And I think there was a gentleman or maybe lady, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell on YouTube comments that was also chasing you from Houghton. Was he able to get with you on your QSO party?
So that was Tim W3TLP who was hunting me from Houghton County, and I did not hear him and he did not hear me. I had a good exchange with him in the comments, and he also said band conditions were not great for the little bit of time he had to play. So it's actually brings me to a kind of a bummer, and I would have liked to have worked him because I did not hear Houghton County on the air this year, and that's kind of a bummer. WA1UJU, Glenn, who had been a long time holdout for Houghton County on the Michigan QSO Party, both on phone and CW, became a silent key last year. So Houghton County was not represented. Keweenaw County was, however. The people from the Calumet, what is that thing called? Keweenaw Repeater Association, the W8FWG group, they ran Special Event Station Whiskey 8 Kilo when they were on the air. I heard them, but they did not hear me. So I had no QSOs with Houghton or Keweenaw County, but I did have a few other UP counties, so that was good.
And you usually go to the Upper Peninsula for Michigan QSO, don't you? Because there's a lot of rare counties up there.
So I have in the past done Keweenaw County and Schoolcraft. Actually, it's funny because we joke about that. I've done that county once briefly. So just very quickly, both of those years I happened to be up there, and it was Michigan QSO Party, and I had radio with me, so I was able to play. But this year was much more intentional with getting the cabin up there and spending the whole weekend up there, getting the antennas situated, and it was a good time. Like I said, it was just a well-needed weekend break, and I felt much better when I got back. People at work said I looked well rested, which means that I was.
That's good to hear.
I was probably brutal and unpleasant leading up to that weekend. So I was actually concerned. Three separate people in three instances told me that I seemed much more relaxed. I'm like, I guess I was worse than I thought.
Well,
you were looking. Go ahead, James.
I was going to say, you got a nice break right before Dayton here. So
I was going to say it's getting busy here. You were also looking at going up north this year, but the weather was looking a little bit prohibitive even that late in the season. So
yeah, it just didn't work out. I was considering going all the way up and trying to do something in Keweenaw County. The time was there. I could have snuck another day of work away from work if I wanted to, but it just didn't work out. The planning for it, I didn't quite have it together. And like you mentioned, we had just gotten done with the ice storms, and then they were still getting another few inches of storm of snow up there. Our friend Mike W8MSC, who I was able to work on 40 meters, he was up in Baraga County at his property outside of Lance, and he said he was fine getting in and out, but I was okay with not having to trudge through the snow and be going up and down the highways in an early spring snowstorm.
Well, awesome. It sounds like it was a successful QSO party in the middle of Michigan and a beautiful, beautiful little Airbnb. If you haven't checked out the video, like Rory said, definitely go check it out. That's the Mic Check series of videos that we're trying as a sort of interspersed video in between our podcasts, because we know they only come once a month. So maybe we're going to come up with a little bit of extra there. So check out those Mic Check videos. I think James has one out, and now Rory has one out. So I guess I got to do something.
We know who's
being
next.
Lazy. NAJRD.
I think you'll have some opportunities coming up here soon.
Absolutely. James, anything going on with you? Brand new?
No, not too much radio related. My wife went out of town for a long weekend with her friends, so not much radio activity recently. Maybe the best time when the bands, again, are not really the best here.
It has been tough.
Just trying to save my pennies and get the car ready for Dayton coming up, so I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. But yeah, Jim, what about you? What have you been up to?
All right, couple quick ones here before we jump into it, because I have excitement, and I'm sure everybody's thinking the same thing here. We did, right after the last episode, go pick up a camper. So we're taking that down to Dayton, which is exciting. We will be at Caesar Creek, and if you are at Caesar Creek and you're listening, come on by. We're going to be in the DE loops of Caesar Creek down there in the 100 series campground. So if you see a guy like myself or a guy like James or a guy like Rory, wave to us to say hello. We'd certainly love to see and meet you and know that you're listening. But yeah, we're gonna bring our camper down. It'll be the first time taking it out for any long trip, so that should be exciting.
That's fun. That's big time.
Now you will see me at the campground occasionally. I am otherwise will be at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah. Rory's the invited guest.
That's right, Rory. Well, it depends on how Friday evening goes, but you always have a pull-out sofa in the new camper, so that's good. But we do have the camper, so looking forward to taking that down there. It'll be a shakedown trip for us, and I'm sure we're going to forget something, or otherwise something won't work quite how we planned it. But it'll be fun to go down there. The weather, knock on and whatever's wood around you, gentlemen.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's looking okay.
Don't do it.
It's looking okay.
It's looking warm. I'm actually a little concerned about the temperatures being warm
That's exactly right. That's what I was going to say. If it's up over 80 any 3 of those days, it's going to be very warm in those big barns. But I am still looking forward to it. So it should be fun. We are, of course, if you're not following along and tracking here, Dayton will be there. And so, yeah, very good. Looking forward to that. And we had a little excitement. I will just mention this. You probably see the dogs running around the background. One of them had surgery a week ago. So it bit into my Dayton fun, but it's okay. We're happy to have the dog. He is healthy and rested now, and he'll be down with me. So it's a nice little bonus there that he's all good with a little scare that we had just a week ago.
That is good. We were worried. We were worried.
I messaged both of these guys, and they were very genuinely concerned. But Cash, my black poodle, he's only 3 years old. He's going to make it. He had a little thing that he had to get taken care of. But glad to do that, and it's okay. But the other big news, gentlemen, and I'm sure it's just about on everybody's tip of the tongue if you're listening, is, of course, the new Yaesu release. And we finally have some confirmation about what this FTX1 means to us in radio. And I think that,
So who all has their order in for it already? Let me ask that question.
Two of the three.
Two of the three. I wonder which 2 those are.
I can't tell.
Well, we both had reservations, so it should be a pretty easy mapping if you've been listening since the beginning. James and I were both reserved.
We were on the fence on those reservations, though.
That's true. And when we were talking about it, I think that the initial excitement, of course, was that, this is a really neat radio, something to compete with the IC 705 that we've talked about before. But James and I both, being more sideband oriented than CW or otherwise, were concerned a little bit that QRP might not get through the pileups, might not do what we need to do for POTA, even though it would have been cool no matter what. So the big excitement is that Yaesu is telling us there's a 100-watt attachment for the FTX1, and it changed everybody's mind, I think, and mostly here in the club, we have almost 8 folks that have ordered an FTX1 Optima series 100-watt radio. So it's a huge drop from Yaesu. I love that they played the cards close to the chest right up till before Hamvention because they definitely knew that this was going to drum up some serious attention. They have, 3 booth spaces in the barn that they are calling the Yaesu Experience.
Which they always have a great showing, and the free hats. So.
And the free hats. Yep. But it sounds to me like the plan is to have all of these radios at the show, so you're going to actually be able to put some fingers on the FTX1, see how it operates, actually pull the glass off the top of it, poke the buttons, touch the screen, see how it works. And also, it sounds to me like they're bringing all of the other radios sitting beside it so you can kind of compare and contrast those features and decide what's right for you. Because let's also acknowledge the sort of elephant in the room. It's not an inexpensive radio, right? It wasn't an inexpensive radio when it started. And now, with all of the climate changes in pricing, we're looking at $1,400 for the head, which is just the field model, the FTX1 field model,
which is the 10 watts.
Yep. That's right, the 10 watts, and then the FTX1 Optima with the 100-watt attachment is close to $1,900, $1,899, I believe, and so it's not an inexpensive radio. And let's be the first to acknowledge that I doubt it's a starter radio for many. When we're talking about close to $2,000, it actually becomes a sort of barrier to entry, I think, but it is a very exciting radio, and I like what Yaesu's doing here in its sort of modular design. So what do you guys think? What's
we talked about that modular design, or we speculated on it. We knew there would be attachments. We definitely saw from the Tokyo show that there was the rails and the points on the back for it to connect, and I'm very excited that we now have a true modular radio. And the part that is great also is you're talking about the price point. Yeah, it's right. Expensive. It is. It's not an entry-level radio. It offers a lot of versatility. But the nice part I could see in the future is it can grow with you, though. It's buy once. What is it?
Buy once, cry
buy
once?
once. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Buy once, cry once. Because maybe in the future, there's a change to the the amplifier, so you want to maybe swap it out, or maybe you do want to try QRP and you want to get the tuner module or a bigger battery or some other accessories.
Absolutely.
It can really kind of grow with you in the hobby, and we know ham radio is a hobby where it's a hobby within a hobby, which we talked about before. And maybe right now SSB is your thing, but maybe you want to get into more digital. Maybe you want to try QRP. This really does open those doorways. And I'm really excited that Yaesu has gone this direction. I mean, we posted a video, is Yaesu changing the game? And
I think they did.
And I think they hit the mark. And I think they And the one thing I was really impressed with, you saw John, the sales rep, doing the live demonstration. He's been on the forums. He's been posting the comments.
That's right.
And the part I really am impressed by, you can see that they're listening to the feedback from hams. They acknowledge it's expensive, but they're literally saying, if this is what you wanted, well, here it is. You wanted this, now you got it. And I'm excited to see that level of engagement from a major manufacturer as well.
They're very interested in the users' opinions. As we found, they've been prowling through social media like crazy and putting comments on all sorts of channels, not even the big channels. We even got a comment on our channel from
crazy,
them.
But thank you.
In response to something. And I think that's excellent. The YouTube live that they did, detailing everything and talking over some of the decisions they had to make, and going through and confirming or denying people's comments on all sorts of social media. I think that's tremendous to see Yaesu doing that outreach. And I did not, as I kind of alluded to moments ago, I did not put my my reservation in. I wouldn't be purchasing a QRP rig. It's not something that would ever be in my collection. So it wasn't on my mind. Of course, I wanted to see it. If someone got it, I would play with it and look at it and turn the knobs and see how far I could get on 10 watts. But I would not own one. But with the Optima option as part of the package, it is on my list to purchase. I don't know that I'll be purchasing one at Dayton. I haven't decided if I want to drop the change yet, and I have to make some other sales of equipment that I have, get it off the desk.
Horse trading, I know how that goes.
Yeah, it has to be done, but I will own one, and it's looking like it's going to be my base rig, to be quite honest. And that's the cool thing about this, is it has all the things. It's all band, all mode, which I enjoy having, and it would replace an older rig here on the desk. And what is this thing? A 7100 IC 7100 ICOM rig, which I always wanted one. I finally got one, but I played with it and I want something new instead. So that's what's happening here. I feel the price is appropriate. I mean, it is not an entry level radio, but Jim, you can kind of talk to compare the receiver and some of the technology to the DX10, which is a tremendous rig. And I think you're getting exactly what you're paying for on this one. And I think it's priced correctly, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Jim, do you know, when you talk, are you going to go through the price of what the amplifier module is alone, the 100 watt?
Yep, I think we can just acknowledge that right now, which is to say, if you're going to buy the kit together, which all of the folks in the South Lion Club who have pre-ordered the actual Optima are ordering that package, which is the FTX1 Optima package. And that includes the SPA1 amplifier, and it includes the FTX1 field head. Now, it's also important to mention, I think, that the FTX1 field head includes the battery. So you can still take the head off of your Optima unit, slide the battery on. That's in the box with your Optima package, and you can go QRP, take it out into the field, and go play with 10 watts, right? Maybe it's a fine afternoon and you want to slide out onto the back porch with the nice margarita and try to get a little, do a little CW on the back porch, right? It gives you that flexibility, and that's what I really think they nailed with that Optima package. Is they're not leaving the battery out of the package and making you get that separately. You're getting the whole kit and caboodle when you order Optima. It's a great deal. So go ahead.
I almost wonder what is going to be they'll never publish these numbers, but the ratio of sales for the Optima package versus the field package.
Right.
And everything I've seen in my small little sample size of ham radio enthusiasts is showing that the Optima package by far and away is the most popular package.
I don't know anyone that's put an order in for the field.
No, me neither. And it's almost like the Jeeps. There's a 4-door version, which now is, I think, 80% of all sales. And then you have the remaining 2 doors that's still lingering around. I just think the Optima package is just going to be...
Having been a previous Jeep owner, we could probably do a whole conversation on the 2-door versus 4-door Jeep thing. And we'd have to bring in Jason KN4AL for his...
I don't think we're ready for this level of discussion.
That would be... I no longer have that, but I can only imagine. But anyway, sorry, I digress there terribly.
No. It's a good question, and I think what you're driving at, James, is, say I don't buy the Optima package right out of the gate. Could I piecemeal it together, and is it affordable to do that? The answer really is probably not, right? If I want to get the most bang for my buck, and we always joke on this podcast, hams are cheap, us included, me included specifically, right? I'm going to pay the $18.99 out of the gate instead of the $14.99 out of the gate, and I'm just going to get the 100-watt amp. And the reason being is we know now that the SPA1 is available. The MSRP list was $800 for the SPA1, which is the 100-watt amplifier add-on for this radio. But it looks like at retail, it's going to be about $649 plus tax and shipping, whatever that ends up being. So,
Still
right,
a decent deal.
It's not a bad deal, but I think you're saving yourself $250, $300 by not buying just the head. So you really have to look at how you want to operate. And I do think there are going to be some SOTA operators, some POTA operators, and some hardcore CWers that are going to be like, never cared about 100 watts. I only wanted it for the QRP. And that's awesome. And I love that they're giving us that option. It was a huge mind changer for me when they dropped the Optima package. I had speculated about 2 days before when we heard that there was going to be a 100-watt amp option, that I hoped that there was going to be a bundle package right off the hop, and Yaesu was 100% ahead of me on that one. They had that bundle package ready, and I agree with James. I would bet it represents better than 80% of their sales.
Yeah, it has to. And also, put in the comments. So if you're listening to the audio podcast or the YouTube version, put in the comments if you're buying one, or if you're not buying one and why, or which package are you buying? Because I'd really be curious to see what is the ratio of Optima package versus field package.
I got one more thing to layer on that. If you're in the comments and you're thinking, boy, the FTX Optima is $1,900. Yaesu has a lot of great radios that are cheaper than that. I'm going to buy this instead. And I would love to hear what you're buying instead of the FTX Optima, now that you know how expensive it is, right? And the reason I say that out loud is I owned a 710, an FT710, the field model, and I owned the FT-DX10. Both of them I took out and POTA'd at 100 watt with. The DX10 is a heavy radio to go POTAing with, so I'm a guy that sits at a picnic table with a 20 amp hour battery, right? Like, I know I'm not like hiking into the deep backcountry to do POTA, but I POTA'd with both of those radios, and they're a lot of radio for the money, especially when you talk about the FT710 field. I think, again, we talked about Yaesu competing with themselves in many ways. FT710 is still going to be taking a lot of the bread. That's an excellent radio, and if you're thinking the Optima's too much, I highly recommend that FT710 field as a excellent option.
You made me think about something when you were talking about hauling around heavy radios and that, and we'll bring the UP up as a point again. There's a handful of points in the UP that I've visited over the years that are not are all POTA parks, but they're all places that I've wanted to operate radio from, and some of them require anywhere between a mile and a 2, 3, 4 mile hike, which for me is healthy hike.
It's a good hike.
So I'm looking at this, and it spurs it talks to me, because maybe this is something I'll do. FTX1 field comes in just by itself 2.75 pounds. Throw that into a backpack. That's very light. Of course, you'll have some other things that you'll need to take along, and I don't think that includes any battery weight. FTX1 Optima is 8.6 pounds. So both radios are not heavy. The versatility to be able to pack one of these up and carry it anywhere is going to go a long way. And I look forward to that. So even though I said mine will be a home shack queen and sit on my desk, it's not something that I'm going to be opposed to packing up when I need to. My 891 will still be my POTA radio, but I think I will be more apt to take this out when I want to have a little bit extra in the field.
Now, the only thing I think I was a little bit disappointed in, and again, we'll go through the very impressive specs here, I think, in a minute. Jim, you probably have some stuff queued up, knowing you.
I do.
I was really optimistic, or hopeful, maybe is a better word, that it could be a mobile replacement for my 891 in the vehicle.
I was as well.
And we found out through some comments, I believe by John, that there is no separation cables for the head. So
correct.
That's not really going to be an ideal setup for a mobile. I'm sure some people will find a great way to make it work. But that's the one, I think, disappointment I have in the radio.
That's fair. And if you look at the complexity of the connections that are interconnected between the Optima 100-watt amp and then the actual head, I believe there are at least 3 discrete cables, if not 4, that are connecting between those two. So I can understand why making a wire loom of cable that would extend it back under my seat or otherwise would become ungainly. But at the same time, it I wouldn't be surprised to see an enterprising ham make all the right electrical connections and make sure that they're well isolated from one another, and it would probably be functional. But we will see. I know John doesn't love speculation, but you're listening to the podcast with us here on Everyday Ham, and we do like to speculate a little bit. Let's think about the future.
We sure do.
Hams do nothing but speculate. You ever listen to a repeater during drive time? I mean, we're speculating on everything. I've been kind of discussing with Jim and others along the way. I wonder what else Yaesu has up their sleeve. Does this mean there's a new family of radios that they're going to continue to produce? Is there a mobile? Is there an actual mobile that's going to come out of this? Because I did wonder, initially, was I going to look at my mobile install and do something completely different with this rig if that was an option? But at this point, it's not. But I do wonder if they're going to come out with something, the 891 at some point will be getting a little long in the tooth. And I wonder if there will be something with the fancy colorized screen and everyone needs a scope. So, everyone's got to have these radios with scopes. I don't use the scope because I don't have a radio with one. So, it's no big deal to me, not yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
That's what everyone says, but I'm looking forward to picking one up. Like I said, it's probably not going to be next week, but it'll be very, very soon.
And did we also, it does not have the true dual receive, correct, for satellite operation also?
Yeah, it definitely, I think that was one of the things that everybody was hoping, that it was going to be a super competitor as a satellite rig, right? And there are a slimmer group of folks that are operating true satellite, where you need VU in a true duplex. Full duplex situation. And unfortunately, while it will receive V and U, or U and U and V and V, it is not a true full duplex receiver. And what they did admit to was that with the real estate in the head itself, which when you think about it, recall, we are talking about a rig that is fairly compact, right, size-wise. If you have an FTM 500 near you, it's only a couple inches longer and about a half inch taller. So it's a pretty small rig. And Rory, by the way, the 2.2 pounds, I think that is with the battery attached.
Oh, really?
So,
See,
so
I'm
if you can believe that. That'll give you 6 watts in your backpack with the battery attached for 2 pounds, which would give you a lot of flexibility.
That is pretty cool.
That is true. No full duplex. And I think that was there was a small subset of folks that were really disappointed to hear that. I would have loved to see them check that box mostly, but it wouldn't have been something I would have heavily leveraged, especially at QRP levels. And I know that satellite ops don't need 100 watts, they need 10, right? Because you've got line of sight to the sky.
Yeah, I don't even think you need
satellite 10. Swings by. Yep.
Yeah, so the field, so the control had 8.4 inches by 3.5 inches by 2.2 inches. That's a nice compact size.
Yeah, it's a good size.
I am, even on the desk, like I said, to have it at home here, I don't have a very large shack, so, real estate on my desk is at a premium, so that's a big plus there too.
I have a couple of interesting things, and I'll tell you guys today, right before the podcast, we found out that the actual instruction manual dropped. So there's some hot off the presses info that I don't think we knew yet, and we've been working overtime for you guys that are listening to understand by combing through the comments, not only on Yaesu America's announce video, but also looking at how they're replying to us and others to try to understand this whole thing so that you guys know what's coming, mostly because I'm interested, because I can't wait for it to get delivered. I hope it shows up before the end of May, because I already sold a radio that I was using in place of it. But I have a couple of things, and I'm going to show them to you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see my screen. But if you're not watching, that's okay. We'll describe it to you just as well. So let's get over there and take a look. And the first thing that I want to mention to you guys is we saw a lot of pictures of the head of the unit, right? And we've seen the front and the back of the head. We saw it even as early as the Tokyo Ham Show, but we didn't understand what the Optima meant to this particular package until last week, which was, first, it adds 100 watts. And we were like, okay, awesome, right? But we knew there was no tuner in the head, and we were curious, does getting Optima mean I get a tuner? Does getting Optima add any other features? And the answer is, thankfully, yes. So the back panel of the Optima finally revealed by the new instruction manual launch, which is available today. So if you go over to yaesu.com, you can find it. We now know that on the back of the Optima, there are actually 2 HF antenna ports, not just one.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Huge deal
nice.
For me. I think that Yaesu abandoned this somewhere around the FT 3000 series, where at this price point, they were offering dual antenna on their HF rigs. And then when the DX10 dropped, right, we went back to a single antenna out the back. And I'll tell you, when I got the 101 MP around Thanksgiving of last year, having the 3 antenna ports on the back makes a huge difference because the software controls every one of those things. You can swap between your receiving antenna, or, hey, I'm going to use my vertical because I know it's getting out well on 20, and then I'll switch over to my end fed, which is able to get down to 80 meter, right? Like, so it gives you that flexibility, especially when you think about how the Optima is intended to be used in the shack, to switch between a couple of different antennas. And if you don't have 2 antennas right out of the gate, that's okay. It gives you flexibility to expand down the line. So I was excited to see them bringing that back. That's a artifact of previous models of Yaesu that at this price point, I think it deserved, and I am extremely happy to see it.
I mean, that's only better and better for being a desk. What'd you call it? Desk queen, Rory?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I mean, it's an excellent feature. Again, I mean, it really makes the radio more versatile, and it shows that they're listening again.
Well, at the same time, as a deployable rig, if anyone goes back and watches my mic check of the Michigan QSO Party video, I did have 2 antennas up there. It would have been very nice to be able to switch between the two, because at the beginning of the day when 20 meters was bad, I had both antennas tuned to 20 meters so that I could switch between the two, trying to see, was it my station or was it the bands? It turns out it was the bands, but it would have been nice to just have that instead of having to, in my case, change out the coax, unscrew, and put the new one in. Because of course I didn't bring a switch with me. Who thought I would need that? But in this case, it would have all been there. That is excellent. That made me happy to see that as a native part of this package.
Let me tell you another thing here, and I know you guys are screaming at your monitor. Jim, a cheap 2-way antenna switch is $35 on Amazon. It can be delivered to me overnight. I don't care if it has 2 ports. Let me tell you why it really matters, though. The built-in antenna tuner, which is built into the Optima +1, is able to keep a map of the SWR readings across both of those antennas, right? So when I switch back and forth between antenna 1 and antenna 2, if I've tuned that antenna up, the memories, and there are many banks of memories, when we tune below 2, we'll go back to that set of relays, and I don't have to push that tune button again. And I'll tell you, it takes me to my next point on this one, which is that this does have the tuner built in, but it's buried in the menus, guys. So there is no dedicated tune button that we can tell on the FTX1, right? So to get to it, hold the function button down. Then the display, which is a 4.5-inch touchscreen. Now, I have fairly svelte fingers, but I always call them meat mitts. I have to poke the antenna tune button, and then from the antenna tune menu, I need to click tune. So there's a couple of subsequent things that I need to do to get a tune on my antenna. So when I talk about 2 antenna outputs, when I tune that thing up, it's awesome that it remembers I'm on antenna 1, and the tune for this particular antenna was here. So I love that they added that second antenna port. I know it doesn't sound significant, but when you talk about how ATU works, I believe it adds a serious level of versatility to this thing on your desk, being able to work, an end fed, which is generally a pretty awesome antenna, but probably has some compromises at the edges of the bands, and then something else, whether you have a beam up there for 10 meter because you're swinging it around to do, super DX, or you're using, like me, a DX commander in the backyard, which is another multi-band antenna, but just gives you a different polarization. It gives you so much flexibility. So those are 2 things that I got super excited.
Did it have any program? It didn't have any programmable memory buttons, did it? Anywhere? I don't remember seeing that.
No, as far as I can tell, and I have only had little less than 120 minutes with this manual before we got on the air here
What
tonight.
Are you doing with your time?
I was looking to see. On many of the Yaesu radios, there are hotkeys or programmable buttons that can be mapped to a user function, right? If we can map the ATU to a user function button, I'm going to be in love, let me tell you. Because if we have direct access, like, let me give you my perfect example, and if Yaesu is watching this, which I hope they are, the SDX key on the top of this unit, right? If I can long press the SDX key to activate the tuner as a user selectable hotkey, boy, do I like that as a tuner shortcut. The SDX key is something that is a short press on or off, and I think you can reuse that button as a hotkey for tuner without any trouble at all. So I would love to see that, and that's just me brainstorming as I'm thinking about how this thing works, because you either have SDX on or off. It is what they've softly called a preamp, but more or less it just increases the receiver sensitivity.
That's one of the advantages of an SDR radio.
That's right.
Software defined. You can push updates.
I'm hoping for a firmware update in the future that does give us mappable button for that ATU. So I have a couple other things that I'm thinking about here. And if you watched John's presentation, you might have been wondering if you have an ATOS on your car already and you were thinking, I want to go mobile with this thing and I want it to move my ATOS around. You heard John say that it wasn't going to be able to drive the ATOS, right? And we didn't understand what he meant necessarily. And I think that he clarified later on in that presentation. So we were a little confused, but on page 78, we have a final word on this, which is really, really interesting. If you have an ATOS antenna and you can connect it to the back of the FTX1 field there, right? Because the ATOS will tune up into the 2-meter band, right, Rory?
Yes.
Yep. So you can duplex into your ATOS, right? So one antenna, both ports, right? And if you're feeding it mobile power, so 13.8 volts or above, right? Standard DC out of your vehicle while you're powering it, or maybe you have your lithium polymer battery that you're working POTA with, right? It will drive the worm drive for the ATOS, and it will move the antenna up and down. Now, the big standout here is if you're running on battery power, right? The battery nominal voltage is 10.8 volts, right? So it's a little below what I think the ATOS wants for power, and so they are not allowing it to drive the ATOS when you're running battery power. You need to be hooked up to that DC input, and it looks like you need at least 5 amps. So I was happy to see that no additional tuner hardware is required, but you do just need some power, and that makes sense.
And to be fair to Yaesu, the one thing I think I was confused on was there's two tuners. There's the if you look at the kit, there's obviously the one in the Optima in the amplifier. Then there's a long wire tuner as well. And I think they were speaking about the long wire tuner. Obviously, is not designed to run an ATOS, but
yeah. The long wire tuner also doesn't clip onto the back of this. It's actually a universal tuner for many of the Yaesu products. And if you're using the long wire tuner and you love it, I would love to hear that down in either the comments or if you let us know what you think of that, because it's been on my radar, but I never understood what exactly whether or not it was a good piece of product. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting. I got one last thing for you guys, and it is possibly Yaesu finally embracing what I believe is a modern standard. You ready for it? Mm-hmm. It is USB-C, guys. We have USB-C
I was very glad to see
the
that.
rig. We have USB-C inputs across this rig. Thank God. Even on the ICOM 705, by the way, you did not get USB-C out of the box. So there are some boards you can retrofit the ICOM 705 with to make it USB-C compatible, but I am so glad to see that Yaesu is embracing USB-C here. There are no excuses. If you want to connect your computer to this particular rig for FT8 purposes, for PSK, RIDI, whatever you're doing, you're going to use your standard A to C cable in the case of a laptop. Maybe you have C ports on your Mac and you're hooking it up, right? You've got that option. I loved finding out that it is USB-C compatible and supports 60 watts of power delivery as well, so you could charge the battery with your MacBook adapter, for example. A nice, powerful. I have a GaN, gallium nitride adapter on my desk here. This is a 60-watt adapter that's smaller than the palm of my hand that would charge this thing, and it's far more portable than most of the things that are packed in to charge these batteries. So I love seeing that we have power delivery that is high power, and it's going to be able to charge this thing and do data, CAT, and all of the audio inputs and outputs on this thing. So I'll stop sharing. I'm excited. I'm thrilled about this thing. Back. What do you guys think?
No, I was going to say that would be great too for the soda users that use their cell phones with the USB-C for FT8 or digital modes as well. So that'll be a nice, really nice.
One of my
addition.
questions early on was did we know what the input outputs were for this? And of course we didn't yet. That was one of the questions I posed to one of the group chats, and we did not. So for this to come out was very exciting. The USB-C on the control head is very, very exciting. It's like Jim mentioned there. It's one less thing you got to pack. You can multi-purpose if you're packing for a trip and you got to pack light. That's one less thing you can have to take, and you have your charging cable. When you asked me about the antenna earlier, I was distracted. I was busy reading the manual, trying to come up to see if there was an answer for programming a soft key or something, because for my 891, when I run the external tuner on it, I do have one of the soft keys programmed to engage my tuner so I don't have to go into the menu. So I was hoping I would find something in the manual while I was sitting here, and then you were asking me about the ATOS, and it looked like I wasn't paying attention. So that's great. But
no,
we're researching on the fly here.
Again,
I
think
am excited
C4
about this
FM
one.
is also in there too, right?
It is.
It lives.
We did joke, right? Is C4FM dead? And this was in our Is Yaesu Changing the Game podcast. Guys, we were speculating a little bit. We are pushing a little bit of the most extreme end of spectrum when we talk about some of these things to get you guys excited about, to get you thinking about what if that happened, right? But the answer was, and I think that we all knew in the back of our head, Yaesu still sells a ton of DR2X repeaters. There is a lot of C4FM that is on the air, especially in the Metro Detroit area, and is very active. So I am happy to see that this is a rig that does
C4FM to go away. Yaesu invested too much money in getting the repeater program started and more or less giving them away in a lot of cases very, very inexpensive.
High value. Yeah.
And I really didn't expect C4FM to go away. I'm looking forward. Actually, that's on my Dayton list to purchase. I need a Fusion handheld. I don't have one, so that will be the FT5D. Is that right, Jim? I lose track of all these numbers.
Yep.
That will be one of my first purchases down there. I'm going to get that on the air as soon as I get down there. Might head over to my friends at DX Engineering right when I get there. That might be my first stop.
Maybe they'll recognize you from the Everyday Ham, Rory. I'm kidding.
I don't expect that. I
want to segue with your thing, which is first I want to ask you, what is one of the reasons that you want to get that handheld right out of the gate at the show?
Because I want to be able to ping APRS from my backpack as I'm wandering around like a complete nerd.
All right, and that brings me to my final comment on the FTX1. This baby does APRS.
Nice.
And if you
key up there.
But does it do it natively, Jim, or did you need to add something?
Yeah, I'm going to acknowledge here that it's a bit of a compromise on this. And we got so much built into this thing, I guess I'm not complaining too much right now. And let me tell you what, with my Optima order, I have the BU6 on order, which is the Bluetooth unit. I'll probably never use Bluetooth, but it's okay. I have it. I have the GPS, the FGPS5 on order, and I have the cage on order. So I have 3 of the accessories on order. So I've got the full Monty coming. So look for a mic check video when it comes, because we are going to unbox that thing together, guys, and we are going to put it all together, and we're going to poke the buttons. But anyway, it has APRS, guys. I'm very excited about the APRS part of it. It does require that the FGPS5 is built into the side of the unit, or plugged into the side of the unit, rather. And it is a little ungainly. It's a small unit, but it has to be plugged in with a little jack. So it sort of harkens back to the old VX8D era where you had to put that big thing on the top of the handheld to make it do GPS. But, I'm happy that it's there. And honestly, we got so much in this thing, it's okay that there's a little compromise.
I suppose real estate's at a premium in this package, so it's not 100%. Going to be something that they're going to add in there if they didn't need to. So I guess I can get over that it was an add-on. I don't know.
That is so. I'll take this as a little segue, and you guys can tell me if there's any last thoughts FTX1 related that you missed. Do you have any thoughts one way or the other?
I'm excited. I want to get my hands on it. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Me too.
I am extremely stoked. Come on, Ham Radio Milwaukee. I'm Ham Radio Outlet Camp over here. I've been ordering from Ham Radio Outlet for ages. Looking forward to it. So that brings us to the second elephant in the room, which is Dayton is coming. And it's
Dayton Hamvention. Here we go.
It is only 5 days until I launch from the QTH here to Dayton. And it is it's just a little over a week until we're at the show, rubbing elbows, poking all the newest things, buying all the things we don't need, or maybe we do need, and we just don't know it yet. What are your guys' plans? Tell me about your strategies for Dayton. And we've talked Dayton before, so give me something fresh. Like, what are you thinking when you get down there? It's going to be 2025. Looks like it's going to be an awesome year. There's some really cool stuff coming.
Yeah, something new for me, actually, this year is I'm going to try to go to the QRP, the 4 Days in May event. So I have wanted to check that out. That's completely fresh. I've heard really good things about it, so I'm excited to see that. And honestly, I'm excited to see what ICOM and Kenwood do to try to compete with Yaesu. Yaesu has stole the show, and they're a week away from Hamvention. So I think these organizations, they knew the FTX1F was coming out for a while. I know these companies don't exactly push products super fast, but I'd be curious to see if they're going to how they're going to try to market what they have or what's coming up on the horizon for them.
Rory, I know you have something on your mind there.
Well, I have a lot of things on my mind. I'm going to go to the QRP. What is it, James? It's the vendor vendor show. What is it actually
Yeah,
called?
I think it's a vendor
the
show.
Thursday night event.
4 days in May, right? Isn't it called 4 days in May?
Yeah, sounds right. But
think
I
it is.
intend to go
Yeah.
there on Thursday night. It looks like, just from some things I saw online that last year, that looked like it was a well worthwhile event. So I'll pop through there Thursday night. Of course, I'll be ready to go Friday morning in line with every other bozo trying to get into the Greene County Fairgrounds there. I will say, I'm sure most of you guys will be trying to park on site, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't park on site. I park at the Xenia High School and take the shuttle bus over. I found that to be my way to do it. My friend Sean, K8SAW, brought that to my attention, and probably a couple years back, the first time I went to it at its current location. For anybody who's listening that would rather not walk through a grass parking lot, or that's difficult for you, the parking off at the school is very easy. The buses pick you up more or less right at your car, and it drops you off more or less right at the gate. And it's just the last few. There's no rain in the forecast at this point, but my last two times down there.
With that. You guys are
my
killing
last
me.
2 times down there was rain, so to be able to park off at the school was just much more convenient. So I'll put that plug out there. But I will be at I'll be in line ready to go. Now let me tell you a story. Last year, I don't remember clearly whether it was going or coming or going, but I clipped the side of the asphalt, the path going in, and tumbled right to the ground, and that it must have been going in, because I was all discombobulated trying to walk around. I was not hurt, but
You're only half a coffee in at that point.
Probably no coffee in, but that's a separate story for Hamvention. But we're going to try not to fall down trying to get into Hamvention, and
Good positive step.
And we're going to
No pun intended.
I'm hoping for a good positive step. Absolutely. Anyway,
Pun intended.
And if the weather holds out, like I said, I'm going to go make the one purchase at DX pretty quickly there, but I'll probably be headed right out towards the flea market on Friday. Get a good look at all that. The stuff in the buildings, the vendor stuff, that'll all be there. There's nothing there
That's right.
That's going to disappear unless that you know of someone that's selling something. One of the vendors might have something that's in short supply, but in general, everything that they have, they're going to have all weekend, or they can ship to you later. So my plan Friday is to get out to the flea market. Also keeping an eye on the forum schedule. I took a look through that. I haven't quite decided which ones interest me, but I've made this comment to a couple other people. It is going to be warmer. One of the pluses about the forums is they are in an air-conditioned building. So when you've been wandering around in the heat all day, and you can go take an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hour break in the building with the forums, get out of the heat. It's a good opportunity to
Saturday.
let your body relax and cool down a little bit.
We're proud to say some of our club members will also be presenting. So Jason K&4AL will be presenting in one. Mike W8MSC will be presenting in one. It's great to see that POTA is getting its sort of dues, I guess you'd say. Seems like some really good presentations. So I think the first one is from some board representatives. So hopefully they'll talk about what they see the future of POTA is, some of the things they're working on. At least that's what I'm hopeful for. And then the second forum talks to some really active POTA activators and what they do, and a discussion around it. So I think that is going to be a pretty cool discussions right in the middle of the day. Get in there, get cool. I think it's in the main forum building. So, of course I'm going to plug my friends, but it should be a packed house. POTA draws a crowd for sure.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the things that's on my radar, and I'm only 8 months or 9 months on from doing HF op in any meaningful way. And really, if we look at when I got started with POTA, it's only been 6 months. And the last month or so, I slowed down significantly. There's a couple of reasons, of course, but once the new radio comes, I'll be back on the air, and I'm looking forward to closing out that kilo over at Brighton State.
Once Yaesu's taking your money and you can run with it, yeah.
I just have to spend money to make,
Yeah, of course.
Anyway. Right. So I did notice, though, that there is a forum on Friday, I believe. It's on May 16th at 11:30 to 12:30. So it's right in the kind of the middle of the morning there, and Mike Case and Mark Torgan are putting it on, and it's Parks on the Air, The Road Ahead. And that one actually has my attention because I am very curious to see what those two guys have to show us that we should be expecting from Parks on the Air, right? Parks on the Air has been so traditionally well organized. It has been such an excellent kind of promoter of the radio sport that we do every day. It just has it's had such a huge transformative effect on this hobby. I can't wait to see what they're planning on talking about in that particular conversation.
And see here, Jim, I thought you were going to this APRS State of the Union on Friday.
I might be there. I might be there too. Is it at the same time? Don't tell me it is.
No, it's room 3 at 3:10 on Friday. So.
Well,
yeah.
I hope I run into all the folks that hate APRS there. Rory is back with us. Rory had a brief internet delay. Welcome back, Rory. It's okay.
That's excellent. I'm so glad my internet connection is of a high quality at the north end of South Lyon. Where did you guys lose me? It looks like you guys are still talking forums.
Yep, we just transitioned right into what forums we were looking forward to. I mentioned that I'm looking at the Parks on the Air, The Road Ahead forum, which is on Friday afternoon, and I'm really excited to see what that means. And James was actually sharing that on Saturday, a couple of the folks from the club that are big activators, right? Folks that are out there doing robes on the regular are going to be doing a presentation as well. So I think we missed exactly what forum you were interested in. So why don't you go ahead?
Definitely the POTA ones. I'm interested. You joke about the APRS one. It's titled APRS State of the Union. I am curious. What are they going to talk about? Is there going to be a any sort of change of APRS coming up, or I doubt it's ever going to sunset. It's used for too many different things, but just I'm curious if there's anything new there. I may or may not get into that one. There's also at that similar time, there's one called fox hunting and transmitter hunting, which I don't know if either of you have been involved in a fox hunt.
No, that's something I've talked about for the club that I would love to do, is an organized fox hunting event. I thought it'd be awesome.
I think it's something we should do.
Yeah.
It's I never the Milford Amateur Radio Club, which is just to the north of us here. I used to participate with them with those years ago. I still had my Plymouth Sundance, so that was car number 1. So it's been a number of years.
Nice.
That since I've done that, but it was a good time. So that's the forum there for sure on the Friday session. Saturday, there's a few different things. There's of course a system fusion session there. You can go see is that sticking around or not. Which we know now.
It's got the blessing.
We know now it is.
It's got the blessing.
Contesting forum, as I'm getting more involved with that over time, I would be curious about that. Some of them are open-ended, and I don't know where I fell off the internet world earlier. I was discussing the forums are a good way to get out of the heat if you're starting
that's
to
right where you fell off.
Get warmed. So in a way, I don't necessarily plan. I take a look at which ones might interest me and kind of have a absolutely want to go to and kind of want to go to. So if I'm wandering around and the back's starting to hurt and I'm getting too hot, I might go to one that I kind of want to go to. So
yeah, and if you're a new ham,
I approach the forums.
If you're a new ham, don't sleep on the forums. They're a great time to go to. You actually learn a lot, and if it's a topic you're interested in, you network a little bit because a lot of the presenters and speakers are accessible afterwards. And you can walk up and ask them questions, and it's a great experience to learn. I enjoyed them a lot.
Questions.
Yeah,
a lot of people have the same questions you have. So it's if you go, someone else is probably going to have a same question that you might have, and it's just a good way to hear and be around other people that are like minded in the facets that interest you.
Yeah. A couple of things here that I was also thinking about, right? And I'm looking forward to, the full experience. We've said before, this will be my first one. These guys have been there before.
It's only my second.
It's only James' second. But if we do see you guys there, and if you hear us chattering amongst ourselves, and that's usually how folks have picked up on us as a group is they're like, that voice sounds familiar. You sound like the ornery folks on the Everyday Ham podcast. And we're like, that's us. We would love to see you. Don't feel bad coming up and saying hello. We would love to meet you and know what you think of it so far and know what you think we could do better as we move forward. So I want to say that out loud. And two, don't forget your sunscreen. If it's as sunny as it's going to be, don't get that sunburn because, man, it'll be brutal the next day. You can obviously tell on this video, a very sunburn-prone kind of gentleman. So yeah. I will be spraying myself down before I get out there.
There's no shame in the sun hats. The old man sun hats, they work for a reason.
Good shoes are imperative as well. If the forecast does change and it looks like it's going to be wet, definitely take shoes that you can be comfortable walking around in puddles and mud, because the flea market will get muddy. The grass areas will get muddy. If you've parked in the parking lot and if you've elected to not use the shuttle bus and park in the parking lot, that will be muddy. So definitely have footwear you're comfortable with in all day for sure.
So what do you guys think is going to be the hot ticket item of purchases at Hamvention? So last year, it was the little thing, the Signal Stick. Those were selling like crazy. Everyone was buying every color and every variety under the sun. Any inkling of what you think will be this year?
So I think that we already, and Yaesu kind of upset the apple cart here by doing this a week early. I think they were looking to spend your money a week before Hamvention, so that you went so you went broke. So I think that a lot of folks that were waiting probably spent a big old chunk, and I know that I moved a couple of radios. To make the FTX1 a possibility for me. It's not just magic that it shows up here, so excited about that. But I am curious to see what else is there. I think Signal Stick will probably do excellent business again, and I will tell you,
great product.
I have their dual band. I have two of them, but I'm looking forward to buying an orange. And you'll know I love orange.
There it is.
1.25 meter signal stick for my rig. So I'm looking forward to
this is a 220 here.
And I might buy one of the signal strands as well. I know you could make one at home, but I just love the idea that they're offering it as a sort of like buy it and have it all fit right in the package.
Yeah,
so and it doesn't seem like it's too much money. It's like a couple bucks extra. So I'll probably add one in there just as a sort of SHTF shit hits the fan type add-on for the kit.
And if you've been after Pactena, I heard the rumor is they'll have limited inventory there as well.
That might be a reason to show up in the vendor booths before you go to the flea market.
I'm going to look at that one more. I'm going to look at that one more closely and decide if that's something I wanted to pick up. That was something on my list to research. I know you guys have talked about it, and I might be something I want to add to my kit of stuff for sure. Yeah,
super portable, great build quality, very versatile. I have the 20-meter dipole Pactena. I got the end-fed half-wave Pactena.
Nice.
Two end-fed half-wave Pactenas. I'm lucky enough that I was able to snag them when they went on sale twice. So
James is sponsored by Pactena, apparently.
I wish.
I'm kidding.
We can all dream here. But no, they're a solid mobile antenna for POTA and other activities. So definitely something to, if you've been chasing one, maybe now's the time to go get one.
It might be the opportunity because every time I go to look, they are sold out on the website. So they seem to be an excellent product and one that folks definitely desire. I wanted to say something out loud, and it's not in the vein of acquiring anything, knowledge or otherwise, so much as to say, if you're a ham headed down to Dayton and you are planning on testing at Dayton, good luck to you, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I suspect that you've been preparing for a week or more, and you're a little bit nerves in the throat, ready to go down there and test at Dayton. I really look up to the folks that can go do that at such a big event and be successful. So good luck to you if you're going to go do that testing, especially if you're going after the general or the extra test being a little bit longer test, a couple more questions. Focus, you'll do well, and good luck to you. And if you're a brand new tech and you've been even studying for a week and you feel like you just want to go do it and get involved, I hope you do well as well. So I just want to say that out loud. It's not a place that I could test well in, so for those folks that can make it work, good for you, and I hope you are successful in your endeavors.
You got this.
And shout it from the rafters if you get it. Let your club know. Join a club. Let the folks know. It'll be exciting, and this is the perfect place to be excited about radio nerd stuff. So everybody will be very congratulatory if you make that ascension.
Yep.
So they do a decent job. They do a decent job to separate the testing area from Hamvention. So it's actually located at a church across the street from the fairgrounds. So you can, it is walkable, or you can take a shuttle bus from the main entrance. They provide that all day long between the main entrance and the testing at the church across the street. So they do take into consideration that it is a severe environment to be testing in. And I did toy with the idea of maybe getting life in order to do it here, but I'm not that smart yet. So I won't be doing it. I won't be making the jump to extra yet.
Soon.
It'll happen when it happens. It buys me a little bit more frequency and a little bit of, whatever. But maybe the chance at a 1x2 call sign someday. That's about it. But I'll do it. I'll do it someday for sure. But
as we near the end of this thing, I think that we want to say out loud too, this is an interesting month for Everyday Ham. I do think we are going to record a few shorts on site. So look forward to a couple of fun little get-togethers from the crew here, W8 Connects Rory, K8JKU James, and myself, Jim, N8JRD. We're going to be on site, and we're going to try to do a couple of recordings. We won't be pushing our way to the front of the line as a ham tube standard. We're going to wait our turn, and hopefully we get an opportunity to meet some of you, talk to some folks that have cool equipment at the show, and we want to bring you a couple of neat little features. So keep your eye on the channel if you're on YouTube and listening, and we will try to make those things available on the audio podcast where it makes the most sense. We might do a short recording.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that out loud. Know that there is some fun Dayton-related content coming, and I understand that a month between content is a long time to wait. So hopefully we can make you guys happy. Look forward to seeing y'all down there. James, back over.
Nope, I was going to say the same thing. I'm sure we'll probably do a audio podcast recording of a summary following up to Hamvention as well, just to capture our thoughts and what we're looking forward to next year even. But I guess I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Rory, before we go into formal closings, though, do you have anything you'd like to add? Any last comments?
I don't. I'm confused that it's ending because since I lost my connection, the timer tells me we're at 11 minutes. So I thought I had another,
all time is lost.
Definitely hamvention.com. If you've not been there before, take a look, make a plan. Looking forward to meeting any and all of you that make it out there for sure.
And we're hoping these two didn't jinx the weather. We'll just leave it at that.
Gosh.
But as always, please like, subscribe, follow, and comment our videos, please.
Give us some thoughts.
Audio podcasts that we post in all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and etc. And then we also post these video versions on YouTube. Jim mentioned already that we do have some mic check shorts that we're going to start releasing, including the more recent one of Rory for the Michigan QSO Party. So be sure to check those out as well. We are on Instagram at Everyday Ham Podcast or Everyday Ham. What is it, Jim? You'd think I would know this by now.
You know what? You're going to make me look bad. I don't know.
You just search Everyday Ham Podcast and you will find it, or visit everydayham.com, and all the links are posted there. We'll get better at this, I promise. But with that, thanks everyone for joining us for episode 5. We look forward to some Hamvention coverage coming up here shortly. So thanks everyone. Have a great day.
73s.
Thanks.
We'll catch you on the next one.
That's it for today's Everyday Ham. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep enjoying the hobby.